It's Wednesday, October 1st. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. A growing wildfire forces more homeowners to flee to evacuation centers. NB Power looks for approval to boost electricity rates nearly 5%.
A brisk fall feel to the air tomorrow, but temperatures turn mild, even warm for the start of the weekend.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. We begin with a worsening situation in Nova Scotia. More people have been forced to flee their homes as the wildfire near Aylesford continues to grow. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis is in the Annapolis Valley. He's got the latest. John?
And Todd, I'm at the entrance to the Fox Mountain Campground. This is one of the areas within the expanded mandatory evacuation zones that was announced earlier this afternoon by Nova Scotia's Department of Natural Resources. The Lake George wildfire here in Kings County has grown to 290 hectares and is considered out of control. We've seen water bombers constantly making drops, Todd, this afternoon as they hope to rein this fire in. Officials with DNR said yesterday they suspect the fire was caused by human activity. One evacuee I spoke with today is frustrated that the province lifted the ban on traveling in the forests while the area is still dry.
These woods in Kings County should not have been open. And I'm bitter. Yes, I'm bitter and I'm tense because everything I own is right next to the fire.
The Lewis Millet Community Center in New Minas is open 24/7 for anyone forced to leave their homes. So far, no homes or dwellings have been lost. This afternoon, Natural Resources Minister Tory Rushton extended wildfire season until the end of October. And burn bans remain in effect here in Annapolis County. There are also air quality statements issued for Kings County and Lunenburg County. Todd.
All right, a difficult situation in Aylesford, Nova Scotia right now. There's a live look at Sherbrooke Village where it's 11 degrees. Let's get our first look at the weather now. We'll bring in meteorologist Kayla Mitchell. Let's get back to the Annapolis Valley because they're watching that very closely. Again, dry weather and some winds not helping.
Yeah, so overall relative humidity is low, and it has been over the past couple of days. And the winds have really been the big issue. And this has been true for the past couple of days as well. Wind conditions in general for the Maritimes have been on the gusty to breezy side. Today, I'd consider them gusty. They still are at this hour. They're mostly out of the north. Winds being sustained right now between 10 and 30 kilometers per hour. And some of the peak wind gusts today getting between 40 and 50 kilometers per hour. Now, currently at a weather station at Greenwood in the Annapolis Valley being reported at 41. And of course, we know gusty winds tend to fan the flames from these wildfires. Now, the winds are expected to diminish a little bit as we move through tonight. We're looking at a wind forecast here for the Kings County area of Nova Scotia. You can see they're expected to come down, being sustained 15 with gusts between 20 and 30 kilometers per hour by the time we get to around midnight. But don't become completely light or still. There does remain some wind even into the early morning hours of tomorrow. And tomorrow's winds will increase a bit into the afternoon. They do look like they'll be a little bit lower than today, though still not as light as we would like to see them. They'll still be out of the north, but tomorrow's winds look like they'll peak with some gusts between 20 and 30 kilometers per hour, which again is an improvement over the gusts of today, which reached up between 40 and 50. The air quality statements, they're still in effect, not only for Kings County, but also for Lunenburg County, because the northerly winds will be blowing the smoke in that direction. So air quality reduced where that smoke is present near the surface. A little bit of wet weather around the region, a scattering of some showers, but this is going to be winding down as we make our way through this evening. And they were sort of off and on, hit and miss by nature, so I can't guarantee that a lot of those showers or a lot of that shower activity made it into the vicinity of that wildfire location. There's maybe still a low chance of one drifting through here over the next couple of hours. And then, of course, I'll have more details of the forecast coming up later on.
All right, we'll see you a little later in the show for that, Kaylin. Thank you. Halifax is making Hollywood headlines, not for a movie, but for a weekend bar fight that's even caught the attention of celebrity media giant TMZ. Here's a look at one of the punches caught on video. There we go. The Donnybrook at the Pint on Argyle Street involved security for a singer who performed at the Magnetic World music festival over the weekend. The Kid Laroi from Australia made an appearance with his team when the fist started flying. The young men involved tell CTV News it all started after one of them raised a cell phone to take a photo of the Aussie star before it was swiped from him. To add to the chaos, the 22-year-olds are off-duty security guards themselves who work at the Pint. CTV News has made numerous inquiries to the Kid Laroi's agent, and we're awaiting response. Police were not involved in this. A fire in Riverglade, just outside Moncton, is now being investigated as suspicious. A barn went up in flames on Sunday on Homestead Road. It's been determined that the fire was deliberately set. No one was injured. Several fire departments responded to the blaze. RCMP say this is not the first fire reported in the area, and police are asking for the public's help with video or information. Now, in that same area, a Petitcodiac grocery store is coming to the rescue of another. The grocer is delivering food orders to seniors in Salisbury after that town's only grocery store burned down. CTV's Derek Haggett reports.
During his more than 50 years in the grocery business, Lloyd Killam has worked at community stores in both Petitcodiac and Salisbury. It's been years since he worked at the store in Salisbury, but Sunday's fire that destroyed Walker's Your Independent Grocer has had a big impact on him.
Devastating, because I worked at Independent when the store burnt in 1986. So I went through it twice, I guess. I worked there when this one burned, and I worked here when that one burned.
Now, Killam's employers at the Foodland Petitcodiac are offering free grocery delivery service to Salisbury residents unable to travel.
Small towns, everybody knows everybody, so we all try to help each other out.
Staff at the Petitcodiac store will take orders from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily over the phone. After this week, the store will try to keep the service going once a week if possible.
I think that's typical of Petitcodiac, just like Salisbury helped Petitcodiac when they had their fire. It's what we communities do back and forth, the two of us. We share here.
That's a fantastic idea. I mean, the community has a lot of seniors, and getting to and from here was going to be a problem.
The good deed, not a big surprise to people who live in Petitcodiac.
So I know that it means a lot to the people in this village to be able to help out the community next door, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal to lose your grocery store. I can't imagine.
Meanwhile, Loblaws is trying to make sure their customers can get to the store. The grocery chain is providing a free daily shuttle service from Salisbury to Riverview for customers who can't make the trip to Petitcodiac or elsewhere. The owners of the Foodland here in Petitcodiac didn't want to appear on camera today, but they told me they're offering the free delivery service because they feel it's the right thing to do. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Petitcodiac, New Brunswick.
If NB Power gets its way, customers will be paying nearly 5% more for electricity. The utility has applied for the increase, arguing it needs the money to deal with aging infrastructure and growing debt. CTV's Laura Brown has the details.
NB Power is asking its customers, both residential and industrial, for a 4.75% rate hike beginning April 1st of next year. That's an average increase of $10.90 on monthly bills. It's not much of a surprise. The utility hasn't been quiet about its need to make big upgrades and get its debt under control, which sits at $5.6 billion.
We will see NB Power debt increasing over the next while because of the significant capital investments that we have.
Like Point Lepreau Nuclear Generating Station, currently shut down for maintenance, the utility has spent $565 million on the nuclear plant over the last 3 years and will spend another $253 million in the coming year, which will mean another 119-day shutdown in 2026. They've entered into another agreement with Ontario Power for its expertise on making Point Lepreau more reliable, because executives say when it's in good shape, so is NB Power. This application also includes what NB Power could ask for in 2027 and 2028, a 6.5% rate hike in each of those years.
I know that some of our customers will struggle with this rate increase or any rate increase, but we are at a place where in order to continue to provide secure, safe, reliable electricity for New Brunswickers now and into the future, we need to deal with the infrastructure deficit that we have.
Green Party leader David Coon said these hikes are driven by Point Lepreau and that the Premier is going to have to prepare for more energy efficiency programs. The province's energy minister didn't offer comment on the rate proposal, only that he will be following what comes next, which is an Energy and Utilities Board hearing on the application. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Customers in Nova Scotia could be facing a price jump too if a rate hike is approved. Today, the opposition was slamming cuts to the province's home heating rebate program, warning thousands of families will be left in the cold this winter if eligibility changes. Details now from CTV's Jesse Thomas.
The province is cutting back on its heating assistance rebate program known as HARP. New eligibility means 46,000 households who qualified last year for a $600 rebate will be left out. The announcement came Friday afternoon, and today opposition grilled the government over the decision. Opposition leader Claudia Chender says now is not the time to be cutting a program that low-income Nova Scotians have come to rely on.
You know, the heating costs have gone up significantly. Power bills are an average of $400 more expensive since this government took office.
This year, families making up to $45,000 and individuals earning up to $30,000 can apply for a $400 rebate. That's $200 less than last year's payout. The changes mean about 72,000 will qualify this year compared to the more than 118,000 who qualified last year, where the province paid out more than $71 million versus $32 million this year. The minister justifies the cuts in large part because of other provincial supports in place.
So we do have the senior care grant, which I realize is eligible for seniors in the province. And there is the property tax rebate. So there's a number of other programs that I think can support Nova Scotians in addition to HARP.
With a projected record deficit of $1.2 billion in spending, the Liberals say the PCs have lost control over their spending.
And now they're in a situation where they have to try to bring that budget, they have to try to rein that in. And unfortunately, what we learned on Friday afternoon is that this heating assistance program is one of those programs that they're reining back in.
The province insists HARP is still targeting low-income households, while opposition is calling for the government to return eligibility to last year's targets. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Online, a CTV exclusive. Documents reveal Parks Canada didn't know a controversial U.S. singer was set to perform at its York Redoubt historic site. You can see the full report at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. A small aircraft had to make an emergency landing at St. John Airport last night, diverting another incoming Air Canada flight to Halifax. The airport spokesperson says a small aircraft was flying over and declared an emergency. That was at around 7:15. It arrives safely without incident on the runway about 5 minutes later. It's unclear what the issue was. The Air Canada flight was diverted as a precaution. It later returned to St. John. 3 sperm whales that were stranded off the northern coast of Prince Edward Island have all died.
We're not sure if the animals simply got confused and sort of made a wrong turn, or if there's something underlying in terms of their health.
The whales were reported stranded near Hardy's Channel and East Biddeford PEI on Saturday. The Marine Animal Response Society says it's working to see if necropsies can be performed on the whales to find out what caused their deaths. The postal strike entering its second week once again has Canadians scrambling to find out how to pay bills, get invoices, and government checks. CTV's Vanessa Wright has the latest.
In round 2 of the Canada Post strike, old fears are being reignited as charities brace for its impact on their busiest time of year.
Kind of came out of the blue, this strike, and we sort of have been working on plans for our year-end mailing. It's a time of year that a lot of donors give.
Matt Cook says he's just now receiving mail he sent out back in May during the first postal strike. There's no telling how or when new donations will arrive.
Some grant dollars usually come in by check as well, and who knows if they're in the mail and just sitting in a pile in a Canada Post office somewhere.
The province has put a plan in place for people to drop off and pick up high-priority government mail at Access Nova Scotia centres starting tomorrow. The city is also warning about delays. They too have made arrangements for people to obtain or pay property tax bills.
They've got a couple of options. They can go to their bank and pay it in person, or they can do it through online banking. The other impact we might have is there may be some residents that are expecting a refund from us, some kind of a check from us. And if that's the case, they can actually get in touch with us through 311.
Thousands of postal workers walked off the job after the federal government authorized changes to Canada Post, including cutting back on door-to-door deliveries. Union members say the changes will result in widespread job loss. Today, strikers took part in a national day of action, picketing outside local MP offices.
And those people that are affected by this, they need to put the pressure on their MPs and the corporation.
Canada Post has maintained throughout the labor dispute it needs flexibility and changes from the union to help cut its losses. Those who depend on the service are hoping both sides find a solution soon. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
There's some exciting news today for hockey fans on Prince Edward Island, as the top Junior A teams in Canada will be coming to Summerside. The 2026 Centennial Cup is headed to Summerside next spring. The Western Capitals of the Maritime Junior Hockey League will host the tournament in May. The city has hosted the top teams in Junior A hockey 3 other times, the last back in 2013. The tournament will be at the Consolidated Credit Union Place, and that begins on May 7th. Time for a break still to come. A clearing sky gives risk of frost in parts of New Brunswick tonight. Kaylin will tell us all about that a little later. But next, helping out with the bottom line. Minimum wage workers in Nova Scotia and PEI got a raise today. I'll tell you about that after the break. Workers making minimum wage in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island are getting a raise as of today. Employees, of course, welcome the increase, but will it help or hinder the job market? CTV's Hafsa Arif has more.
At this cafe, the owner wants to pay staff more. All of them make over minimum wage, but over the years with each hike, they've had to rely on fewer staff.
I think we had maybe almost 20 staff, and now we have to be down to 12. I mean, everyone's getting paid more, but there's less jobs to go around.
Especially for those just starting out.
Need someone there to kind of teach them how to sweep, how to clean, every little thing. Well, we really can't afford to pay them a high wage and pay someone to watch them and to teach them, train them.
As of today, Nova Scotia's minimum wage went up to $16.50, the second increase this year, totaling to $1.30. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says half of its members can't take on these higher costs.
To pass it on in the form of higher prices for consumers, and that's the last thing they want to do. But just with the ongoing economic uncertainty and the razor-thin margins, that's the reality for many small businesses.
About 40,000 Nova Scotians earn minimum wage, and while big corporations may be able to absorb the hike, the independents are struggling to stay competitive.
So we really want to see government step up. Consider expanding the personal basic amount, which is the salary exempted from taxation, or look at targeted supports, housing benefits, things like that.
Especially as costs go up for everything else, and raising menu prices to match every increase isn't something business owners want to push on to customers.
A lot of times we just have to eat the margin, work harder ourselves, take up more shifts ourselves to keep things going.
For now, the wage increase means bigger paychecks for some, but for business owners, it also means harder decisions on how to keep their doors open. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Still to come in the show, sunny and breezy conditions for Thursday. Caleb Mitchell is putting the final touches on your maritime forecast, and he'll have that for us after this commercial time.
Start your morning with us for what you need to start your day. News, weather, and even a little fun. Your Morning Atlantic with Amanda Devison, Crystal Garrett, and Latavia Beezer. Weekdays from 6 to 9 on CTV2 and ctvatlantic.ca.
It was a calm afternoon over Conrad's Lake in Conrad Settlement, Nova Scotia. I am embarrassed to say I didn't know where this is. So a quick check. It is near Musquodoboit Harbor.
It's very picturesque.
In eastern Nova Scotia. So my apologies to the good folks who live around there. But boy, I will try to find that spot now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And a nice day, and especially with those leaves coming out now.
Yeah, now, the fall colors are popping around the Maritime region. This is typically when we hit our peak, which is early October through about the middle part of this month. That's before too many of them end up on the ground.
Yeah.
I have noticed that some of them are on the ground already, especially on a day where it's a little bit more blustery and we have a little bit of wet weather moving through, tends to knock some of those leaves down.
Well, this would do it if this got close.
Yeah, but which it won't, though, thankfully. This is the remnants of what once was, just a couple days ago, Hurricane Umberto, now a post-tropical weather system, still headed off towards the east. It is sitting north of Bermuda. It is going to head far enough to the east not to really cause us any issues here in the Maritimes or Atlantic Canada. Bermuda is actually more concerned about what's coming up in behind it, and that's Hurricane Imelda, which is now a Category 2 hurricane. Maximum sustained winds near 160 kilometers per hour. Bermuda is underneath a hurricane warning as the storm is approaching them tonight. They could get into some hurricane force winds, dangerous storm surge, and potentially 50 to 100 millimeters of rain. After that, you can see that Imelda is expected to become a post-tropical storm system and then directed off towards the east by this area of high pressure that's building in towards the Maritime region over the next couple of days. So that's going to hold outside the outermost marine areas here in Atlantic Canada as well. So we're not expecting weather from either of those two systems. We could, or still will, see some increased wave action along the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. That'll ramp up tonight into Thursday, but then even that wave action looks like it'll be diminishing as we move through Friday and the weekend ahead. Let's take a look at our forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation. So still at this hour this evening, we have some scattered showers on the go. Those are most widespread around areas of Prince Edward Island, the southeast New Brunswick, and basically central and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Now, these showers are mostly being driven today by the combination of daytime heating and some cooler air that's sitting aloft of us here in the Maritime region. As we lose that daytime heating, we're going to start to lose these showers. And that means that as we move through tonight, it's basically clearing conditions in the forecast, becoming cool to chilly, though, especially for the province of New Brunswick, where there's a frost advisory in effect. We'll see that in a moment. Taking a look at weather conditions for Thursday, though, with high pressure in place, it is expected to be a mostly sunny day. Winds will diminish a little bit compared to today, but still on the breezy side. For tomorrow, they'll be mostly out of the north. They'll be sustained in a lot of cases 10 to 20 kilometers per hour, and especially for Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, there could be occasional gusts between 20 and 40. There's a frost advisory out for the province of New Brunswick for tonight. A lot of low temperatures for that province headed down to a range around -2 to +4. Lighter winds as well, so that gives a higher chance of frost developing. As for Prince Edward Island, most low temperatures tonight 5 to 8 degrees, and in Nova Scotia, most of the lows between 6 and 10. Highs in the forecast for tomorrow across the northern areas of New Brunswick. Most communities can expect highs 14 to 17 degrees. It's very seasonable for early October. Down through central and southern parts of the province, the high temperatures tomorrow between 14 and 17. Prince Edward Island on Thursday, high temperatures near 14 degrees, mostly sunny day, breezy north winds. In Cape Breton, the high temperatures 12 to 16 degrees, a little bit cooler for northern areas in Inverness County. Around the north shore of Nova Scotia, most highs near 14, and on the eastern shore, highs between 14 and 16 degrees. Northern and central parts of the province with high temperatures tomorrow, mostly right around the mid-teens, including 16 for Halifax and Truro, Chester and Lunenburg. The Annapolis Valley tomorrow with high temperatures of around 16. 17 for Liverpool and Shelburne, and 16 degrees for Yarmouth. In the extended forecast, not a lot of rain here. We're still looking for more rain. We need more of it here in the region. A couple chilly mornings for New Brunswick coming up over the next couple of days. Temperatures actually turning mild to warm, high temperatures that is, into the start of the weekend. Chance of showers on Sunday, back to some mild, warm October weather Monday and Tuesday of next week, and then maybe rain possible on Wednesday, though at this point in time, I'd say it's just a chance of rain at the end of that 7-day forecast. For Nova Scotia, a couple breezy days ahead, temperatures rising into the upcoming weekend. There'll be a chance of showers on Sunday. It's followed by a mix of sun and cloud for Monday and Tuesday of next week, and the possibility of some rain on Wednesday. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, tomorrow a little bit cooler, but temperatures warming up Friday, Saturday. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud. Chance of showers on Sunday. Fair weather start to next week. Still holding on to mild to warm temperatures, highs in the low 20s, and the possibility of rain on Wednesday, Todd.
So you get Quite a few days. We're still well into the 20s.
Yeah.
October. Is that unusual?
It's pretty unusual, absolutely. But it just seems to be a continuation of this weather pattern that we've had through the summertime. And now so far through the first part of fall, just persistent areas of high pressure, a lot of ridges building up from the United States, bringing up that warmer air with it.
Right. Okay, we'll see you towards the end of the show. Coming up next, we'll talk about the future of Canada's submarine program. And we have this story in entertainment.
Hello, I am Lindura, and I am currently in Halifax filming the new season of Sullivan's Crossing. This weekend, Saturday, October 4th, I have an exciting sustainable fashion event coming up at Carbon Arc Cinema, where you will get a chance to watch an incredible, impactful documentary about fast fashion, as well as to meet incredible local sustainable makers and vendors here in Halifax. Stay tuned for more deets.
Okay, so we're back at it tomorrow. Virgin Radio's 5K a day, giving you a chance to win $5,000 daily, 7 a.m.
And tomorrow at 7:30 is your chance at $100 in groceries.
Welcome back. As part of its commitment to increase military spending, Canada is in the process of shopping for a new fleet of submarines. Right now, a couple of Victoria-class subs are in active duty off our coasts. The former British diesel submarines have long served the country, but they do need replacing. Our guest tonight is Tony March, CEO of Babcock, a Canadian company that helps maintain their current subs and is working with a South Korean firm, Hanwha, in bidding for the replacement contract. And it's good to have you with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You spent time on the East Coast. You know this port very well.
Yeah, I lived in Halifax for 5 years. It was really formative years of my naval career, and I got a lot of fond memories of Halifax.
As is the case with much of our military hardware, the subs have gone well past their best before date, and really your firm and those who work on maintaining them have had to do a bit of magic to keep them going.
Yeah, it's been a challenge for sure. You know, Babcock's been sustaining the current Victoria-class fleet for the past 17 years. Submarines are approaching or exceeding 30 years of age, but Canada's making a significant investment in the future, and we're really keen to be involved in that. Something the Navy, of course, has wanted for quite some time. We're looking at what, a fleet of 12? Yeah, Canada's gone on the record saying they're looking for up to 12 submarines. That's the operational requirement, and you know, we're keen to continue to support that. What would a new fleet of submarines allow the Navy to do that, say, it can't do now? I think, A, you're getting more. You know, this is a tripling of the fleet, going from a current fleet size of 4 to 12. So that allows a consistent, persistent presence on both coasts as well as into the Arctic. And by picking a submarine, a new procurement, that allows you to have a submarine that can go further, can do more things, and can better fit the needs of a big, broad country like Canada with a long coastline to defend. A lot of focus now, of course, on the north. In an area that many countries would like to have dominion over. A new fleet obviously would be designed to spend a lot more time up there. Yeah, you know, I think some of the things that people need to realize is it's as much distance to cross the Atlantic as it is to go into the northern approaches. So, you know, as I said, the government of Canada is fully stated and need to defend all 3 of Canada's ocean approaches. So fully expect that the new submarine fleet will spend more time in the north than the current fleet does. So when we look at a timeline, because we know these projects take an awfully long time, first thing that would happen would be a deal to be signed. The date for that, a couple years' time, and then what, Canada's hoping to have subs in the water by 2035? Yeah, 2035 is what the head of the Navy has been publicly advocating. You know, it takes in the neighborhood of about 6 years to build a new submarine. Got to get time to negotiate a contract. Procurement's moving very, very quickly, which I think is a positive sign, certainly from an industry perspective. So potentially contract signature in 2028 or even sooner. But that's really, you know, it's paced by the government and their ability to make a decision. Australia recently introduced a fleet. South Korea, as I mentioned, Germany. There's a lot, France. There's a lot of focus on submarines right now. Yeah, I think submarine, you know, as a foreign naval officer, you know, submarines offer a really compelling capability. persistent, survivable. So I think it's appropriate that Canada's made that decision to make that investment in a military capability that a lot of our allies have.
Beyond taking possession of submarines, you're working with the South Korean company, of course. What would be the benefit to Canadians? What would be the benefit to maritimers if your bid should be successful in terms of, you know, creating more than just taking delivery of them?
Yeah, so I think right now we've got 4 Victoria-class submarines and a fleet of 12. The big change is right now those 4 submarines, the heavy maintenance, the refit work is done in Western Canada. And with 4 submarines, there's enough work to really sustain one shipyard. With 12 submarines, you're going to be doing refit work on both coasts. So that's going to add a new investment in a submarine maintenance capability in Atlantic Canada. And that represents several hundred new jobs. You know, highly skilled trades, engineers, technologists, and that's a new investment into the region.
There's been some suggestion that maybe Canada might want to, you know, buy some South Korean models, perhaps some of the German. Are there benefits or risks with come with splitting a fleet like that?
I think that the Prime Minister was pretty clear that it's there's certainly, you know, their preference is to go with a single selection. There's obvious benefits of having just one type in terms of economies of scale to provide that maintenance, single chain of spare parts, single chain of training. So there's benefits to having a single class. You add complexity if you buy from 2 different suppliers, but it does give you differentiation, increased potentially speed of delivery and a number of characteristics. But fundamentally, that's a government decision that they look at, and you know we're poised to support that decision.
And the South Korean model is it's almost off the shelf because it's being built now in South Korea for their usage, and so it would be a pretty quick turnaround from what they're promising.
Yeah, it's we understand the Hanwha product very, very well. It's a proven in-service submarine. They've got 3 in service now. They're launching a 4th one imminently. It's been in the water. It's modern. It's contemporary. It's a proven solution, and they have a significant industrial capability in South Korea to build these submarines very quickly and meet a demanding delivery schedule.
Finally, look, you can have all the submarines that your ports can handle, but they're no good if you don't have anybody to be inside of them. You are a submariner. Why is it a good career option? They're going to be looking for more sailors.
I think that submarines are amongst the most complex mechanical devices made by humankind. And it's a fantastic career opportunity if somebody's a young engineer or technologist and you want to work on something that's hard, that's complicated and challenging for decades in your career. Having something new and exciting offers a great opportunity for the future.
And those folks in our service with Dolphins, they're a special crowd.
Well, I was very happy to serve the Navy for 21 years, and I look forward to future decades of submarine service in Canada.
Tony March, CEO of Babcock, thank you for taking the time. I know you're only here for a couple of days. We'll hopefully get you back in here again.
Thanks very much.
We'll take a time out. We'll be right back with much more of your newscast. Stay with us. In the Lifeline tonight, we take a look at a study that shows more than 99% of heart disease cases have a risk factor that can be addressed before getting sick. Here's CTV's Amanda Debison with the details in the Lifeline.
Before a heart attack, stroke, or other cardiovascular disease hit, there are almost always warning signs. That's according to a new study. Traditional risk factors for cardiovascular disease include blood pressure levels, blood sugar, cholesterol, and smoking. In more than 99% of cases of cardiovascular disease, heart failure, or stroke, the patient in the study had at least one of the risk factors before the incident happened. Researchers say even mild elevations of those 4 factors can be addressed with lifestyle treatments or medications. The study was published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. Scientists in Oregon have used human skin cells to create fertilizable eggs. The research team removed the nucleus from a human egg cell and replaced it with the nucleus from a human skin cell. It's a step in the quest to develop lab-grown eggs or sperm to one day help people conceive. But the experiment resulted in abnormalities in the chromosomes, meaning it could take a decade of additional research before it could be ready for trials in people.
I think despite that the difficulties now, but science is advancing ahead. We have more and more new technologies available for us to do research, and eventually, I believe, we solve these issues.
The work was published in Nature Communications. Finally, work is ramping up at the biggest mosquito breeding factory in the world. Why does the world need more mosquitoes? So they can spread a bacteria that blocks virus transmission to each other. Health officials in Brazil hope they can protect up to 140 million people from dengue fever over the next several years. Once the mosquitoes are ready to go, cars filled with them will drive through dengue hotspots and release them into the wild. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for the Lifeline.
We're on the scene with Katie Kelly on a Wednesday night. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
There's an event coming up this weekend. Boy, if you like film and fashion, this kind of gives you everything, right?
It does. And it's with the help of a very familiar face.
Take it from me. Guys like that don't change.
She captured hearts as Sydney Shandon on Sullivan's Crossing.
It's an incredible gift to be on such a special show that people resonate with and that warms people's hearts.
But this weekend, actor and activist Lindura steps into a different spotlight.
I think when it comes to sustainability, the most important thing to think about is just how connected we all are.
Lindura is a passionate advocate for sustainable living.
There are between 80 to 150 billion garments being produced every single year. And that's an insane amount.
She co-founded Plastic Free Toronto, and now she's bringing that mission to Halifax, organizing a night of film and fashion at Carbon Arc Cinema.
Is part documentary screening and part sustainable marketplace.
When everything is concentrated on making profits, what you see is that human rights, the environment, workers' rights get lost.
The film, The True Cost, explores the hidden impacts of fast fashion. But Lindura says the event is about more than the problem. It's about the solutions, too.
There will be 9 sustainable vendors showcasing their pieces, selling them, and being able to talk about their work, their process.
So I kind of did a take on my zipper here.
Jazeel is one of those vendors who designs under the brand Stoke Duds.
So a lot of the pieces that I make, they are things that are donated.
Ooh, it's a zip too.
Yes.
For Jazeel, reworking discarded materials into wearable art is not just about fashion.
What I'm going to be doing is just selling my best pieces. So the pieces that I have the most story behind, the pieces that I think are most captivating.
And for Lindura, showcasing creators like Jazeel is exactly why she wanted to host this event in Halifax.
I was looking in my wardrobe, realizing how many cool pieces there are and how many of them are from here. And I was like, wait a second. There's so many cool people doing good things here.
Lindura hopes this weekend's event will inspire Maritimers to think differently about the clothes we wear and the people who make them.
And I think that's one of the really special things about Halifax is that it's very community-oriented. And I think the more we can support our own communities and continue to grow our communities, the more sustainable we will all become.
Stoke Duds.
Yes.
I like that.
Beautiful stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Really cool. So the event is this Saturday, October the 4th at Carbon Arc Cinema with the Sustainable Fashion Marketplace opening at 5 o'clock, and then the documentary screening is at 6. And of course, don't forget that the first 3 seasons of Sullivan's Crossing are out now, and season 4 is currently in production.
It certainly is. A lot of folks may not have heard of this. It came in late this afternoon. Jane Goodall has died.
Yes, she has. So the Institute confirmed her death on Instagram today, saying Goodall died of natural causes.
How hopeful are you that humanity will take action collectively and move swiftly enough to save the planet?
That's why I'm still aged 89, traveling the world 300 days a year. Which is very exhausting, but after people come to my lecture, they so often come up to me and say, you know, I'd given up but now I promise I'll do my bit.
The iconic chimpanzee researcher chatted with CTV's Crystal Garrett in May of 2023 while visiting Halifax for a speaking engagement, something she didn't stop doing. Goodall died of natural causes in California on a speaking tour of the United States. She was 91 years old.
Of course she was on a speaking tour.
Yes.
Yeah, she never stopped, like you said.
She didn't.
Back to local news. Matt Andersen is bringing a powerhouse voice of his back to the Maritimes.
Yes,
Here.
yes, the award-winning singer-songwriter will tour in support of his latest album, The Hammer and the Rose. The New Brunswick native kicks things off January 28th in Fredericton, followed by stops in St. John and Moncton before wrapping up 3 nights at the Lighthouse Arts Centre, February 5th through 7th. Tickets for this go on sale Friday at noon. I love with Matt, it's like, we're going to just start with 3 shows. We're not even going to add shows. We just know we need at least 3 Halifax shows.
I was just going to mention that because the Lighthouse Arts Centre has a rather large capacity. So to be able to, like you say, just automatically say we're going to need 3 shows really speaks to his popularity right now.
He is absolutely amazing, whether you want to say he's from New Brunswick, which he is, or Nova Scotia, which he currently lives. He's a good Maritimer, and he loves the Maritimes, and it's just so fantastic to see him making so many stops here.
Everybody wants to take ownership of Matt, and why not? Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow night. Here's what's on CTV this evening.
With Crash and Sarah Betts.
We've made it to spooky season, and Fredericton is apparently quite haunted. We'll share your scary stories tomorrow morning.
Plus, play Beat the Bank tomorrow morning at 7.
Let's take a look at the markets. And the Dow closed the trading day up ever so slightly at 43 points. Washington confirmed it's taking a stake in another business, a Canadian one. B&M Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez with more on that.
The U.S. is taking a 5% stake in a Canadian mining company. Lithium Americas is based in Vancouver, but it's developing a lithium mine in Nevada. Lithium is a critical mineral used to make batteries for electric vehicles. Washington has started to pick up a stake in companies that it sees as critical to boosting the economy. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down 13 cents to 71.73. West Texas Intermediate crude down to 61.39. Western Canadian Select is down over $1 to 50.39, and the TSX hit another record close, up 84 points today to 31.07. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Kayla Mitchell's on the weather deck. The umbrella is out.
It is. We've still got a couple of showers passing through. As a reminder, though, as we move through this evening and tonight, the showers will be ending, the sky clearing, temperatures tonight getting cool to chilly around the region. Frost advisory out for New Brunswick. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight. Benefit of this type of weather, where we've got these passing showers, but also occasional sunny breaks, makes great conditions to see some rainbows. And we got a spectacular rainbow visible here on the horizon. This was sent in by Marjorie Shaw today from Capellet, New Brunswick. Boy, I guess you need to hop in a boat, though, to go search for the pots of gold at the end of that rainbow. Capellet for tomorrow. It's going to be a chilly start to the day. In the afternoon will be cool. It'll be mostly sunny, but the high temperature 14 degrees. Day planner for tomorrow. Start of the day around the Maritimes. I expect most morning temperatures to be in the range of the low to high single digits. And then moving into and through the afternoon, a lot of high temperatures tomorrow come up into the range around 14 to 17 degrees for the Maritimes. Good deal of sunshine on Thursday. Winds out of the north, and they'll be breezy, sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour with a few gusts between 20 and 40. Todd.
All right. Thank you, Kaylin. We will see you tomorrow evening. Finally, for us tonight, no cake on the set, but CTV is celebrating a birthday. Canada's first privately owned television network went on the air on this day in 1961. It became an alternative to the public broadcaster. The company's original name, the Canadian Television Network. That gave way to CTV the next year, and 64 years later, it remains the largest private broadcaster in English Canada. The name, well, that's stuck too. We've been using it ever since. And that is our look at the day here at home. Great to see those old IDs. Bruce Frisco is here with your late news at 11:30. CTV News Atlantic.ca has updates anytime. I'm Todd Battis. I hope to see you right back here for your local news tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Have a good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.